We've all heard of comfort food, the kind of food you like to eat regardless of its nutritional value, but it just makes you feel good. Did you know movies operate the same way? That's right, we're going to talk about the movies that we like regardless of critical praise, box office totals, and overall audience reception. These are the movies we love for being what they are, why they are, and how they are. These are our comfort flicks.
What line are you in, John?
We're in espionage. We're in espionage.
And that's the truth.
But their past
We've got this situation.
The answer is no.
keeps coming back to haunt them.
Get copies of this made and distributed everywhere. Jefferson Blue has to become our prisoner.
All they want is a relaxing afternoon out. Some quality time with baby.
Next time, buy American.
Undercover Blues.
In the history of pop culture, the term relationship goals tends to get thrown around a lot. I mean, of course, the most famous example is Gomez and Morticia. Jessica Rabbit and Roger Rabbit is a very odd example. My personal one would be Kanan Jarrus and Harris Abdullah. I feel there's another one that should be added to that list. Jeff and Jane Blue in the film Undercover Blues.
But they just rented this randomly and we just started watching and we all really enjoyed it.
I think that was the film that made me intrigued to go to New Orleans for the first time.
I'd already been there.
You'd already been there by that point?
I went there for a wedding like when I was 12. And I think I saw this movie when I was like 14. I think it came out in 94, 95 or something around the mid-90s.
Something around
So
that.
I was about 14 at that point. So I was like, oh yeah, I remember that place. That was a cool place. 5 minutes I was there, but you know.
Yeah, I'd only been there for like a day with my sister one time, but then you and me, for our 5th anniversary, actually drove out there and had a nice, good
Yeah, we spent a couple
days.
days there actually like enjoying it and not obligated to do other things.
I mean,
it's one of those movies where it's set in New Orleans, and it is in New Orleans. It's not the, oh, this is so-and-so, and it's California. I think every time I see, oh, we're in Florida, and you see like hills in the background, you're like, yeah, Florida.
Yeah, in Florida. Yeah, it's like
it's nice to see the actual location being used when it is a place that of its own unique nature.
Mm.
There is no other New Orleans.
And even better, you actually feel like a lot of the supporting cast really, they wouldn't be as fun as they are if they weren't from New Orleans. Like, especially like Larry Miller's character.
New Orleans really plays into the film, be it the characters, be it the locations, the food.
The one thing I will say that's in New Orleans' favor is that because it has such a dark undercurrent to it, there is that sense of danger at every corner, which it doesn't seem like the kind of scenery for a extremely functional couple with a toddler.
Until you know what their job is. And
Yeah.
then
Honey, come here, Morty.
The synopsis of the film is that Jeff and Jane Blue are a pair of CIA operatives who are on maternal leave.
I don't even think they say CIA, they just say spies.
Well,
they're in espionage. They always joke that they're not CIA, but they're espionage. So they're so high up that nobody actually takes them as representing them. So you really don't know who they actually worked for.
Yeah, so they're
MI6 or some shit.
something like that. They could be free operatives. Possibly. But they end up getting commissioned, in the midst of their maternity leave, they get commissioned by one of their former superiors to hunt down a arms dealer who's in the area.
They're on vacation.
Yeah, they're on vacation. They're trying to have a good...
doing our thing, but they're not prioritizing the vacation over the job. Like, once they agree to the job, they're doing the job. They use everything at their disposal to benefit both sides of having a good vacation, but also get your job done.
Yeah. One thing they always say is important in movies is the presence of conflict, because if the main characters look like they're having too easy of a time, it is not fun. This is the movie I would say, this is one of the rare exceptions to that rule, where I think the part of the fun of this movie is how effortless the two main characters are able to handle both being parents for the first time and also achieving the goals of their mission, while also juggling a snoopy New Orleans police lieutenant, and also probably one of the greatest cannon fodder characters in the history of cannon fodder characters.
My name is Muerte.
Well, I'm pleased to meet you, Morty. My name is Jeff.
If you hear anything about Undercover Blues, you're going to likely hear about the character of Morty, or aka
Muerte.
For death.
For death. And
starts out as a random character, it's just a fodder character. They do loop him in as into the story to actually have him have a point, aside from just hilarity, because he is legitimately hilarious.
He is quite funny.
But
And he's played by the inimitable Stanley Tucci. This is probably one of his great.
you thought he was chewing the scenery in Hunger Games?
This is probably the best use of the classic Stanley Tucci girl scream.
When they were filming it, they realized just how fun this character was, that he gets a musical cue every time he shows up, or he goes into attack mode. So I think they knew that this is where our, not all the comedy, but a good chunk of it is going to be. This is Sky.
Yeah, and even funnier, when every time he does his little poses, there's one point where Jeff Blue, played by Dennis Quaid, actually calls him out, saying, "It looks great, Morty, but it's not particularly practical."
You know, that looks really great on TV.
Speaking of looking great on camera, he got guns.
Yeah, at one point he takes his jacket off, and he's wearing a muscle shirt, and he's ripped.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why? There's no scene that requires a shirtless, or that his character would be that way. He could have been any size, and he was jacked up. He had some guns, and I'm like,
good on you, Stanley Tucci.
You must be working out like crazy, and you are the dumbest mugger on earth. I mean, well, he had a reputation, so apparently it wasn't that bad.
My name is Muerte! My name is Dice!
But the first time you see him attack somebody, it's this old, drunk, overweight dude who's you
Easy
push
pickings.
him and you fall over.
Easy pickings.
Yeah.
So
and his buddy, he has for one scene.
A very early film appearance by Dave Chappelle. Yeah, I actually found out a bit of trivia and research for this movie. Apparently, he actually accidentally got manhandled by on-set police when he tried to get on set to say, "Hey, I'm supposed to be here." They didn't believe him. Yeah, that's kind of awkward. But the other thing that probably would have made the scenes a lot more awkward was who we also discovered was originally up for the role of Muerte.
I don't see, again, this will fall into I don't know how much was actually written for Muerte versus how much was Stanley Tucci just doing his thing.
That's possible.
Because I really don't believe most of the stuff that's on screen was in the script. However, if we had gotten this person, we would not have gotten Morty, as we do know and love him.
Yeah, the person originally due to play him was... Yeah. The movie would have been...
That would have been different.
Way different.
I feel like he would have played it totally straight.
Yeah.
Which it wouldn't have been... Granted, watching Dennis Quaid kick his ass would have been funny as hell, because I feel like that there would actually be a match.
Yeah.
The gator scene would be way different.
Yeah, the gator...
That would be a bit different.
I could easily see Banderas doing the gator scene.
Then again, I don't know if Banderas would have been... If he was interested in the role, they were looking at him... could he have done I've never seen him actually do comedy. Legit comedy, not situational.
Yeah, not too much comedy, as in the movie Too Much that you did with Daryl Hannah and Melanie Griffith.
I don't know what
you don't want to see it.
No, I'm talking Mask of Zorro, he had funny moments.
Yeah.
But that was more of a situational comedy, not comedy.
Yeah.
Whereas Stanley Tucci, I mean, if you watch this movie, you see that role, just imagine I really think Stanley Tucci just kind of did his thing.
Yeah.
Because he's great at doing that, and he does it all the time, but they just kind of go, dude, just whatever you want, go on.
Yeah. Kathleen Turner, Abba Babatunde, and of course Larry Miller.
Yeah, it's these are people who know their stuff, and they've done comedies, they've done usual films, so it's I kind of feel like they were letting them loose a little bit to do some lines on their own.
This seems like a very comfortable film. It seems like they all wanted to do a film with a really great setting, and just a fun script where they can play fun characters that they can zing them off each other. And
you get to go to New Orleans.
Yeah, and they get to have a great time in New Orleans. And I will say, anything that does involve Muerte, the movie doesn't stop dead. The thing that really carries this movie through is the extremely amazing chemistry between Kathleen Turner and Dennis Quaid.
It's also nice to see a spy movie where they actually do spy stuff and not just a bunch of stunts and shooting guns.
Esta nesomnienia samoja glupoja prestallenia što uspredomival.
Вот как. Вы чистите это парня как виноград.
They do espionage. They trick people into exposing that they're bad guys. It's not most spy films are all James Bond type or big explosions. All that. It's no, this was actually a little bit more I could feel like this is what a spy story would be like.
Mm-hmm. And just throw a baby into the mix, and it actually does delve into the question, I mean, how does it complicate your lives, or how do people who have done these they actually build up that, especially Dennis Quaid's character has done a lot of crazy stuff, like abroad, like to the point where he's been fired by the FBI multiple times, he's been fired by the CIA multiple times.
But apparently really good because they keep hiring him back.
Yeah.
And Kathleen Turner is clearly loved by everyone,
Mm-hmm.
but she's really, like, she's actually more skilled than Dennis Quaid, but she kind of plays it more like, gives that all off that you don't think he distracts you while she's actually doing all the work.
Yeah.
But not in the he takes the credit or any of that garbage. No, they work together. But he is the the Prestige. He's Face Man. She's Hannibal. Yeah. I think that's a bit. It's pretty much the way it is, and I mean he gives her all the credit, and they work very well together. It's just different types. They just have legit chemistry. It's like you're watching and going, man. That's a marriage. Like, even when I was younger, I'd watch this and go, you see all these movies with these perfect marriages and right. It's like, no, this one is they they give each other shit, they hold each other accountable, they laugh off, they make jokes at each other's expense, but not in a mean-spirited way. And they even have very normal parental debates, like especially regarding the name of the child. Yeah, they're constantly fighting over the name of the kid. They also just are silly with each other. Like, when she's like, you brought our child into a knife fight.
You took our child into a knife fight.
It was a fair fight. 2 of them, 2 of us.
But it's playful fun. And it's like, 2 people work together, clearly worked together for so long time, are good friends, and got married, have a kid. They have a great relationship. It's very Morticia and Gomez Adams, just minus the macabre side. Yeah. You just don't have that. Just a different type of macabre, really. Yeah, I mean no, they talk about, like, decapitating people for fun. I mean, they bring the baby to a breaking and entering, where they're actually yeah.
Mommy picking the big lock? One of these days when you're a big girl, she'll teach you how to pick locks.
Whereas I can actually believe that in the future they will train this child. Yeah, that kid's gonna know how to do spy shit, like, at 5. But given how much love that these two obviously have for each other, and the fact that they're able to balance these 2 lives, that is going to be an extremely well-adjusted and very talented child. Yeah, the priority always was the kid. Like, the kid's never a problem. Even when the one time the kid possibly would give away what they're doing, they use it to their advantage instantly, and it's actually really funny.
Who's that? Oh, that's Professor Lancaster. He was really a tough one when he came in here.
Kid's never a problem. There's never fights over the child. There's never baby shenanigans. Like, no baby's day out bullshit. Like, the bad guy has kidnapped the baby. Yeah. No, none of that. They use the kid to their advantage with their job, but in a very clever way that never puts the baby in harm. But the baby is still part of the story because it is their kid. Yeah. And the kid's actually cute. Like, you never see the kid fussing or anything. I mean, that's probably off screen, but they allude to the kid was like really fussy going to bed. It's kind of hard not to get caught up in the fun. I mean, and it keeps it all the way consistently through, even down to the villain, played by Fiona Shaw. Most people would know her as Petunia Dursley. From the Harry Potter films. Yeah, I even know her more from Super Mario Brothers. No, 3 Men and a Little Lady. Oh God, that's right. What I remember her the most from. Like, that was a great role. I loved her in that. She was amazing in that. I always liked her.
Not so splendid as your mighty erections, I imagine.
I kind of looked at this, because funny that she's just as glamorous in this movie as she is in Super Mario Brothers. And I'm like going, I have a feeling all the fun she wanted to have in Super Mario Brothers. She looked like she looked, yeah. Like, she's an arms dealer. She's kind of unhinged. Yeah, she's unhinged, but not so unhinged that it's like cartoonish. Like, she's unhinged as a person who freaking doesn't care and wants to, killing people, whatever. Bury them in salt. It's kind of impressive that she very much is in command of that. And no one questions it. No one says anything. They're like, okay. It's loads of fun. I recommend it to anybody, especially if they love, especially for anyone who talks about the brilliance of Stanley Tucci, or if they just love Dennis Quaid, or do you actually feel that maybe Meg Ryan was originally up to play Jane, and maybe she just couldn't do it for one reason or another? No. I think Kathleen Turner was perfect, because She's V.I. Warshawski. She can do it.
She can really just do anything. But I've always been a fan of hers.
Yeah. My sister is a huge, colossal fan. Actually, I think that's why we rented it a long time. Is because my sister was a big fan of Kathleen Turner, and I love Dennis Quaid from Inner Space. So this one, he is just wearing that.
Oh, he's utilizing his grin all the time.
Your pants. Give me your pants.
My pants? No way. No. Okay.
Yeah, at one point the one guy's like, I say you're CIA. He's like, good, say it.
Say it.
Like, he's just he's slapping back constantly with a grin, so it just, if you were on the receiving end, it would just drive you mad.
He's even got the grin on when he's giving the main villain an ultimatum. He's like going, I'm seriously pissed.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
he's constantly got the grin going, but it's kind of hilarious.
And and Dennis Quaid does have a magical grin. I want that grin. It's a damn good grin.
Well, also like when he knows that they're watching him on the camera and he's waiting for that moment, he like does this big old smile right into the camera, like, take a picture, guys. Fun.
Yeah,
it's fun. There's nothing wrong with that.
We could just gush all day about how much fun this movie is, and if we did, we'd be distracting you from your chance to go and see this movie. I mean, yeah, there's a short episode, but you know what? What more needs to be said about this absolutely delightful?
It's a fun film,
yeah.
and if you like New Orleans, it's really, really cool just to see. You know that this is not a set. I would say probably 90% of the outdoor sequences, and some of the indoor ones, because the hotel they're staying at is a real hotel.
Yeah.
I wish I knew which one it was.
I would love to know which one that was.
I mean, they've clearly got the nice suite. So.
Yeah. And I'll say, I mean, and the French Quarter is beautifully shot, and they're taking advantage of every great visual opportunity they can to really show off the scenery.
But they're not romanticizing New Orleans in the sense of making it look prettier than it is or safer than it is. If anything, it really does celebrate New Orleans in a showing way.
I wonder,
not making it.
It does make me wonder if this movie was maybe even done to, like, in conjunction with the city of New Orleans for the sake of boosting its tourism.
I have no idea. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised because it very much is.
It does a good job showing.
Very in a positive light. I mean, it's not hiding, because there's a lot of sequences that do show, like, you know, there's been a lot of muggings lately, you know, and you see the bars. You
see the bars, and they're not pleasant. So if you've seen this movie, and if it ever made you want to go to New Orleans, or did you see this movie because you love New Orleans so much, leave it in the comments below. In the meantime...